We here. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Okay, we good, we good, we good. We're back at it. I got to get disciplined to be on time. But also, I got to have enough discipline for this technology to be working. I'm going to talk about discipline, and I can't even come on at 7:45 like I'm supposed to. But, hey, the math ain't math. uh, life be life. So getting into it, I was looking at, man, I forgot to do a podcast. I just remembered it. I got to go back and find it. Hold on real quick, y'all. It ain't going to take that long. Lisa J in the building. What's going on with you? All right, sorry about that. I had to get the name of the podcast. It was like egging me because I knew the name, I remembered it, and lost again. But the name of the podcast is Relax and Take Notes. It's got a guy by the name of DJ Jordan. That's his podcast, Queen in the Building, and Love Dorsey. Love Dorsey is actually a special guest, but a lot of the pods that he have Love Dorsey on has been getting a lot of traction because you know she breaks down the gender war thing, and she more or less comes from like mental health in your life, and that's why people are doing things. You know, you literally have people that do things that are very irresponsible, and it's from a lack because they're into something, that they learn from somebody else. It's just triggering. So when it comes down to it, I've grown myself into be the man I want to be. I could be better, but you know the training or the lessons, the patterns in which you grow up determines you being an adult. You know, I think Will Smith. I know he's not the first to say it, but this is one of the first people I heard it from. That he was one of the least out of his five friends. Show me your five friends, your closest five friends. I'll show you where your life is going. Those things mean something when you get older in life. When you're young, it's like that's crazy. I just get new five friends. I like the more you grow, the more wise you should get, and I say should because in most cases, Tamika was going on. Most people don't get wise. Most people don't level their life as they get older. They're stuck in a situation to where I don't know, and I'm just gonna blame it on my mama and my dad. You know, even your parents do the same thing. I didn't know how to raise you. And one of the things that Love Dorsey always say, that's a default to a lot of mothers. I did the best that I could, which, and that's a default. You could have did more. You could have went out and researched, learned how to be a parent, but you didn't do it. Same thing with men. It's a default to men to say, man, I tried in certain situations because from a standpoint on a relationship amongst your parents, she break down a relationship of, you yourself. a lot of people don't have a relationship with themselves. They so caught up in trying to provide all this stuff for other people. You know, I always say this, and I said this across many panels I used to be on when I was talking to a lot of men in the Black Manosphere. Society standards. Society puts a standard on us that you got to have a certain looking woman, you got to have a certain looking car, you got to, put yourself in this type of situation. Unless if you don't do that, you're nothing. And that is society standard putting a hold on you, telling you that, hey, this what you need to do, this what needs to be done, and if you don't do it this way, this ain't cool. Like one of the things that Love and this guy said on this podcast, relax and take notes. They was like being married and having kids was a flex back in the day. Back in the day, you with your boys and be like, yeah, man, that's Junior over there. Yeah, me and my wife oh, you married now? Yeah, man, I'm married. That was a flex. Like, yeah, man, I'm married. I got kids. Me and my girl, we don't stay in the house with, with all that, but we working on things. We stay together. That's what counts. Everybody's like, oh, man, that's good. Man, little Rashid got a wife. When I got married and had my kids and everything, all my family was proud of me. That's all that mattered. My homeboys was like, man, don't get married. You too young, man. I'm like, dude, I'm already doing the math. I'm already older than y'all, mindset wise. So why am I waiting to get married? I want to grow with my kids. I want to still be young, to go have fun. I can make money, but at the same time, like, I don't want to be a 70-something. One of my coworkers was 58. What was the note? Because he was a 60, nope, 55. He had his last child when he was 55 years old. This guy was 68 throwing a baseball with his son. And I'm like, dude, really? Like, your son gonna be rolling you down the aisle to his graduation. Like, that's crazy if you really look at it from that standpoint. But needless to say, the crazy aspect of all that stuff is, man, when it comes down to it, it's just weird or just crazy in most cases that a lot of this stuff we learn out of fear from our parents. A lot of this stuff we put ourselves in the situation is because we don't know. Lack of knowledge. And a lot of times that's what consumes a lot of people, lack of knowledge. The whole flex thing with the marriage back in the day, the crazy aspect is now a flex is you having a lot of money, having a real nice car, having you a so-called bad chick, or having you, a situation where you in control or you the boss, Rick Ross, all this crazy stuff. Man, like mentally, have you got yourself ready for life? Like a lot of people still don't have themselves ready for life. Like situations happen right now, a lot of people shout out. They don't know nothing. They still don't know how to budget. They still don't know. Don't you know, boss lady in the building, what's going on, boss lady Denise? Don't you know they did a study, which I was talking about yesterday, in which a lot of the boomers having to go back to work because they haven't saved enough. When they were investing in the future, they was like, man, we're going to get this pension. We're going to get this money. We're going to show people how to do this. And, our generation is this and our generation is that. Now, the people that took that extra step, had their family, guide them a little more, gave them a little more information on investing, they were able to invest more than just, get into a company where they a pension or, investing in 401k. Things outside of the norm It's where people at their retirement age are now are comfortable and just relaxed. You know, the old back in the day, old guys were saying go to the military. Know a couple of people that went to the military, retired. They're getting crazy money. One of my old friends, he's getting like I want to say he's getting 45, but I think he's supposed to get like about 8,000. Self care was going on. Hey, I'm gonna be in Jamaica next month. I think I'm gonna be in Montego Bay. My wife, I think her family is gonna be in Kingston. I might have to try to hit you up, and I'll holler at you when I get down there. Yeah, I'm gonna be in Montego Bay myself, but I think the family's gonna be in Kingston, and we're gonna be going back and forth from there. And actually, I don't know if I'm gonna stay in Kingston yet. I mean, stay in Montego Bay, but I know I didn't want to stay in Kingston because I pretty much just wanted to go on vacation, and I'm gonna be there like in the middle of the week, so that's why I wanted to do, just relax and be on vacation. Doing the family thing, it's only gonna be for like 2 days on the weekend, so I'd rather have all the rest of that time just out to myself and peaceful with the wife and kids. So I'm gonna be out there next month. But needless to say, when it comes down to it, a lot of times, like going into that military was the structure in which a lot of people retired, a lot of people lived and, have these different families set up because the military, they didn't pay a lot when you first start off, but over time, you know, the more you rank up, the more money you made, the more status you got, and things of that nature. And those guys stayed in their retired career. I mean, career military people, they got a lot of benefits. The people that are now, wellness for Full Mama. Oh yeah. Oh, but yeah, the people now, they don't look at it from that standpoint. Because even with the boomers who thought about they was doing all that good with the pensions, they didn't account for inflation. So inflation is killing them now. That's the reason why they had to go back to work. Inflation is killing them. Inflation is killing them. That's why they had to go back to work. You know, Same thing with this right now. A lot of people, you can blame your parents. That's one thing I took from a lot of guys in different spaces. Roger always said this. After 18, you can't blame nobody but yourself because you're at the age now. If you don't know something, you go find it out. You learn it yourself. If your parents didn't teach you how to be, a good person, you go find that information out yourself. You don't know how to budget, go find it out. We're at the top of the line to where, and my uncle and everybody always say this, and I laugh. You have dumb people carrying smartphones, or you have smart people carrying smartphones, or you have people that are not informed carrying smartphones. Because at the end of the day, everybody has a smartphone in their pocket. And this technology is getting greater and greater. They have AI right now that is far more greater than just asking Google to do something or Alexa. Like these things are AIs are writing papers for people. AIs are, writing out business plans which a lot of people, you need a business plan if you want a loan from the SBA. It writes out the business plan for you. AI is doing all kinds of stuff. You got other things that are in the mix as well, but more or less, you got these flying cars getting ready to come out. You got these hoverboards, all this other stuff. We're literally going into the future now, which we should have been there. The technology has been here all this time, but more or less, dealing with a lot of these people is a headache. Wanda, how you doing? Morning. Officially Jake me up. And when it comes down to it, like I said, get back into the mental health aspect of this. A lot of people are not in the know, so they just walk like zombies. Like, and I'm gonna say this once again, so y'all can go back and listen to this podcast. It's called Relax and Take Notes. And the podcast that I mostly was listening to was the one with Love Dorsey and the host DJ Jordan. And Love Dorsey, she broke down a lot of this stuff with, mental health you know, and I was like, man, I gotta put this in the chat, or I mean not in the chat, but gotta put it in the comments about the 9 laws of self-governance, because discipline, they was explaining discipline is the first. A lot of people's like, man, you gotta believe in God, this and that. Believing in yourself is the key. Having that discipline that you believe in yourself and being highly about you will give you the knowledge to go seek religion, to go seek how to maintain your money, how to do all these things. If you don't believe in yourself, it's hard for you to believe in anything else. You can try, you could be lost in religion, just believing in God, Buddha, whoever, Allah, whoever you want to believe in, your choice, your life, your choice. But at the same time, without having that set into the skills of things, like you literally put yourself in a bad situation. First and foremost is you. When everybody accept their award, they say thank you, and after that, they say they give God all the glory. And I seen this one lady as an actor, I forgot her name. She was like, I want to thank myself, because without me putting in the work and doing this, I wouldn't have got here. I wouldn't have got this award. And it hits a lot of people different when you have an understanding of you put in the work. And I always talk to this about my wife. I always talk with this about my wife, and we always had this conversation about being in the church and in the Bible. And I would always hear her say, man, I'm doing this and I'm doing right, this and that, but stuff is just not going right. And I laugh, and she's like, why are you laughing at me? And I always tell her, I said, you pray about stuff, but where's the action? I'm like, it tells you in the Bible, faith without work is dead. And a lot of people miss that part, work. It's like the set it and forget it type thing. Like, oh man, I'm just going to pray about it, leave it alone. No, faith without work is dead. You got to put in the work. A lot of people say, man, how do you get so successful? How do you do this? How do you do that? If you're not putting in the work, how do you think stuff is going to get done for you? That's the bad part with a lot of people. A lot of people don't put in the work, and then a lot of people feel a certain type of way when stuff don't go their way. And that's why they promote faith without work is dead for a reason. A lot of people tend to, more or less, get themselves in compromising positions which they can't get themselves out of. And a lot of times we have these discussions because, like I said, everybody want to pray about stuff. Everybody thinks no, you can't just put it out there in the atmosphere. I'm just gonna put it out there in the word to come back. Oh, one time I was in church and it was crazy. Like the pastor was like, well, we always say you give money, you're gonna get it tenfold. So a lot of people only giving to receiving. Why not just give to give? And that falls up under the discipline part. You doing things like the kindness of your heart. You doing things from which you learn and to be, morals and responsible. Not to sit there and say, man, I'm going to get my reward at the end. No, just do it. If it needs to be done, do it. Why I got to, force these issues, this and that? If it needs to be done, just do it. If you can't afford it, can't be done, okay, I understand that. But When it comes down to it, if it needs to be done, just do it. Starting there with just the basics of having discipline on doing things, eating right, taking care of yourself. We only got one life to live, and a lot of times we don't focus more on our discipline. That's like I say with me, man. I need to get back into working out. I need to get back into walking, you know, because when it comes down to it, it's a cliche thing, but your health is your wealth. A lot of people, I told you, listening to this, one time I was listening to this pastor again, and he was saying people take all their energy, their time, all that to make money. They take all their energy, all their time to make money when they're young. And as they get older, they take all that money to go buy back that health that they missing, that energy. All that stuff that they was exuding to get all this money, they got to pay it right back out to get some more of it back. Your body's broken down. My cousin like that. Man, my cousin would run damn near 18, 20-hour days. He was like, boy, the money out there, I got to go get it. 18, 20-hour days. I'm starting to slow down because the more he talked to me about it, I'm like, man, I'm burning myself out. I remember I used to work at a promotion company, which, I could do it anytime I want, but at the same time, they had little standards as long as I get the job done. I would literally be at work, after leaving work, go over there, work till about 2 in the morning, come home, get 3-4 hours of sleep, be right back up to go to work. I used to do that with the club. I used to go to the club, be at the club till 1 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday night, get right back up at 5 or something, and then go to work. But, that was my discipline. Hey, as long as I can get up and go to work, I'm cool. I was tired all day, dragging a little bit, but it was only just Friday. I got the whole weekend. I'm good. But then I want to party that Friday too, or the rest, man, it take a wear and tear on your body. So, like I said, shout out to everybody in the building. Check out the podcast, Relax and Take Notes. It's with DJ Jordan and Love Dorsey. The one with Love Dorsey, that's the one right there where I was listening to, and it was good, man. Like, she break down a lot of generational curses. Love Dorsey I always say that Love Dorsey was Kevin Samuels before Kevin Samuels. Yeah, because Kevin used to only talk to men. Like, I seen a video. I think I might share it on my on YouTube right here. Man, he grilled this guy so bad, it was horrible. The guy was probably like 20 something. He got 3 kids out of high school, and Kevin's like, man, you need to make more money. He's like, you came up here talking about you want a good female. He's like, you got 3 kids. Female is the last thing on your mind. He's telling the dude he should be a monk. He's like, dude, you shouldn't be messing with women at all. Like, you ain't got no money. Then he told the guy, was like, how much money? What's the highest money you ever made? I guess because he wasn't working at the time, he was taking care of the kids. So he was, pretty much babysitting the kids and stuff. And, he's like, well, I take care of my kids. I this and that. He was like, I'm talking about financially. If one of the women put you on child support, you screwed. And, it was crazy how he told the guy, like, you pretty much a female. He's like, the average woman makes about $30,000 a year. That's about about $30,000. That's about $19 an hour. You pretty much a female. And the guy was like, dang. And it was like crazy how he was going at the guy. But it was funny. Like, I'm like, everybody remember him from going at women, but nobody remember him going at the men because of the highlights. And it turned around. Rooted, what's going on? Yeah, I just finished driving. I'm chilling. I'm about to get ready to go into work too myself. But like I said, with that video, it was like crazy, and it spoke on a lot of stuff. Cause like even with Love Dorsey, when she speaks on stuff, she's coming from a position of trying to learn from this trauma and healing. And a lot of people, man, it just, whoo, when it comes to a lot of people, man, they have their faults. And it's not bad that you got your faults, but, understanding that everybody has a situation, everybody has a story, but growing from that, you know, and I'm gonna end with this. It was crazy. Like she was basically saying how she didn't ever really refer to her, did this ever happen to her? Did anybody touch her? But she said when they were talking to people that were in jail about situations of them being touched, the main focus was these guys target single women because for one, they strong and independent, so they don't see it coming. So if a guy come with them half decent, not wanting nothing out of them, they don't want them. They want the kid. But they'll come as genuine as they can be, being nice. And that's how the dudes say that they would overtake these women like that because they were so nice and positive and didn't want to mess with them. They mainly was there for other reasons, you know. But she was like, you would see the look on these guys' face when they're talking about the situation of how they mess with these kids and stuff like that. And it was just crazy, man. And I'm like, she was saying like when it come down to it, we're not meant to be like this, and having that discipline to go seek the knowledge of understanding yourself, that puts you in a better position, put you in a better position of life. When it comes down to it, a lot of us, we haven't been taught a lot of this stuff. So therefore, if you ain't been taught it, who who pushes you that you don't know this stuff? You haven't been taught this stuff. So it kind of gets weird when you haven't been taught certain stuff, but you forcing yourself to get into this type of mindset. It's stuff got to be learned. Just like she was explaining mental health, she's like a lot of people don't grasp this concept. People who are healed from trauma, they not just jumping up saying, "Yeah, man, I'm healed from trauma. I'm this and that." No, the people are healed from trauma. These are the people that just like the paleontologists, marine biologists. It's something that they got into. They start liking it and wanted to know more about it. That was the whole reason why she was looking into the men and women too who mess with kids because she was like, I want to know this knowledge because it's a healing process for me to understand this so I can understand people who I deal with. She do counseling and stuff like that, and people come with all walks of life with all these situations. She talks about having a survivor mindset for men who what they call homosexuals are dealing with women just to have somewhere to stay. She say most of these men who are raised by the women, they develop these key understandings of how to relate to the women because you seen your mom go through it. Your mom was your teacher, so you seen your mom go through it. You know how to, appeal to these women and work with them. A lot of women not looking at that. That's how these guys are. So, hey, but like I said, just listen to the podcast, man. It breaks down a whole lot. I'm about to get ready to get out of here. Shout out to everybody in the building. The name of the podcast, once again, is Relax and Take Notes with DJ Jordan and Love Dorsey. I always say when I get off of here, shout out to everybody in the building. We here and we gone. Peace.